Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're venturing into a really expansive literary world. Vikram Seth's A Suitable Boy.
Yes.
If you've heard of it, you probably know its reputation. It's famously one of the longest single-volume novels in English. It clocks in at around 349 pages.
That's right. It's huge.
So the challenge for us today, I guess, is how do we get to the heart of something so vast without, feeling completely swamped?
Well, that's exactly what we're aiming for here. Think of this deep dive as your shortcut to understanding this literary giant.
Okay.
We're going to try and pull out the most important insights, the core story threads from this epic about post-independence India set back in the early 1950s.
Right.
The goal really is to give you a clear sense of why it's so significant, why it still grabs readers today.
Absolutely. And at its sort of emotional center, the story really orbits around this question, a question that kind of echoes beyond the book itself. Was a suitable boy, especially in a new nation, trying to figure out its own identity. Because, yeah, it has all the elements of a big romance, but it's so much more. It's like a window onto a whole period.
It really is.
So let's start unpacking it. At the very, very heart of A Suitable Boy is Lata Mehra.
Yes, Lata.
She's this bright university student, and she's navigating that classic dilemma, love versus duty. All while her mother is absolutely determined to find her, well, a suitable boy to marry.
The pressure is immense.
Totally. But her choice isn't easy because she's caught between three really different young men. You've got Kabir Durrani, charismatic, loves cricket, and he's Muslim.
A key point.
Then there's Amit Chatterjee. He's witty, writes poetry, very upper-class Bengali.
Right, the intellectual type.
And finally, Haresh Khanna, who's much more practical, a hardworking shoe manufacturer.
Yeah.
Down to earth.
Exactly. And what's so fascinating, I think, is how Lata's personal struggle. It isn't just her own private drama.
Yep.
Her choice and all the sort of societal pressures around it, they really become a microcosm for India itself at that moment.
Oh.
Her wrestling between, following her heart and doing what her family expects, that directly mirrors the bigger tension in the country between tradition and modernity. India was forging its new identity, and these were the kinds of pulls people felt.
It's amazing how Seth uses her story as a launch pad, really, to explore a whole nation. He builds this grand world, this incredibly vast tapestry around that central romance.
He does.
We get involved in the lives of four big interconnected families. The Mehras, obviously, the Kapoors, the Chatterjees, and the Khans. How do those family stories link up with the bigger picture of post-independence India?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. These family sagas are woven directly into the major historical themes of the time.
Okay.
Through their lives, you get this insider's view of, say, the first general elections after independence. You see the Hindu-Muslim tensions playing out daily.
Right. Not just headlines, but how it affects people.
Exactly. And things like the abolition of the zamindari system, that old land revenue system that created powerful landlords, and the really crucial land reforms that followed. Seth doesn't just mention these. He shows how they directly impact the characters' lives, their fortunes, their relationships.
And it's not just the big historical markers, is it? He packs this world with these incredibly vivid subplots that make the era feel so real.
Oh, completely.
We're talking political corruption, passionate affairs, the real complexities of the caste system, and just people trying to chase their own dreams amidst all this national change. It really is like getting a peek into everyday life back then, almost like eavesdropping on the 1950s.
That's a good way to put it.
And speaking of bringing it alive, Seth's writing, his craft,
Yeah.
it's just masterful. It's so richly detailed, isn't it? You can almost hear the monsoon rains or smell mango orchards.
That sensory detail is definitely part of it. But I think another important point about his technique is how he uses multiple perspectives. And it's not just switching viewpoints. He often puts you right inside the heads of characters who have conflicting feelings or are bound by social rules.
So you understand why they act the way they do.
Precisely. It shows you the subtle ways culture shapes their reality. It's quite sophisticated, actually. It draws on a very classical structure, influenced by those big Victorian novels like Middlemarch.
Right, Middlemarch. I can see that. That blend of romance, satire, social commentary.
Well, exactly. He weaves that intricate social tapestry, just like Eliot did, but in an Indian context.
And what's really remarkable, I think, is that even with this huge scope and these serious themes, he manages to inject this gentle humor. The witty conversations, the quirky family stuff.
Yes.
How does he manage that balance, keep it engaging without making light of the serious issues?
That's a great point. I think the humor often comes from the characters themselves, their quirks, their interactions, social observations, rather than directly from the heavy political events.
Okay, so it's organic.
Yeah, it acts as a kind of counterpoint. It makes the human drama more relatable, keeps this massive story moving, but without watering down the seriousness of the historical backdrop. It allows for these moments of warmth and affection, even when the nation is facing huge challenges.
We touched on Lyda's dilemma earlier, love versus duty.
Oh.
How does Seth really use that personal struggle to shine a light on the broader cultural shifts, that tension between tradition and modernity across India?
Well, it goes beyond just illustrating it. Seth digs into the nuances of duty, especially in a family-focused society like that.
Right.
He shows how personal desires clash head-on with these really deep-seated expectations, and it raises questions about individual freedom versus, what the collective expects. Questions that are still relevant, frankly.
Like how marriage wasn't just about love.
Exactly. Even a decision that seems so personal, like who you marry, is tangled up with family honor, social standing, maybe even political ties. You see this constant push and pull, individual happiness versus what's seen as right for the family, for the community.
And that brings in caste and religion too, presumably.
Oh, hugely. They powerfully shape everything, personal choices, political decisions in the novel. It reflects the real challenges the new nation faced with democracy, land reforms, trying to achieve religious harmony. It's all in there.
And through it all, the book just captures the, I don't know, the warmth, but also the pressures, the unspoken rules of Indian family life so well. It feels incredibly authentic.
It does.
So what makes A Suitable Boy really stand out? What are the sort of aha moments for you, the listener?
I think one is just how incredibly immersive it is.
Absolutely.
It's like stepping into a time machine back to 1950s India. You don't just read about it, you kind of feel like you're living it.
Yes.
And even the minor characters feel so alive, so distinct. That's quite an achievement. And that balance the personal love story against this huge sweep of a nation finding its feet. It's unique.
And that leads directly to how this deep dive benefits you. Firstly, you get this deep cultural insight. You understand how things like caste, religion, family traditions really shaped choices back then.
Okay.
You also get political awareness, like an insider's view of India's early democracy, those key reforms, seeing how politics actually affects ordinary people.
Not just abstract policies.
Right. And maybe most powerfully, there's an emotional connection. You see universal human struggles, love versus duty, tradition versus change, playing out in this specific, rich Indian context. It's like a masterclass in how personal lives get tangled up with national destiny.
Now, we do have to mention what some people see as the challenges.
Sure, the length.
Yeah, it's long, over 1,300 pages. That definitely requires patience. And some readers find parts a bit slow, maybe the political sections especially.
That criticism does come up.
And it's written in a very traditional style, which some might call old-fashioned. But I wonder, is calling these challenges really the right way to look at it for a book this ambitious?
That's a really good question. I'd argue they're not so much drawbacks as maybe built-in rewards for the right kind of reader.
How is
Well, the commitment to this long, detailed story yields huge benefits if you embrace it. It's kind of perfect for, slow, reflective readers, people who really savor language, detailed world building.
right?
In fact, I'd say one direct benefit of sticking with it is you develop or enhance your patience and appreciation for literary detail. It actually trains you to notice the subtle shifts in character and plot that you might just skim over otherwise. It's definitely a journey, not a quick read.
That makes sense. So summing up then, A Suitable Boy is way more than just a romance. It's this epic social novel that just masterfully captures a crucial moment in Indian history. It's rich, it's nuanced, it's deeply human.
Absolutely. And if you're wondering if this deep dive or the book itself is for you, it's definitely for fans of epic literature. If you love things like War and Peace or Middlemarch, this is kind of India's powerful answer to those classics.
Yeah.
History and culture buffs curious about post-independence India, you'll find it invaluable. Romance readers looking for complex love stories with really rich cultural settings will be satisfied too.
In writers.
Oh, for writers and literature students, it's a masterclass in handling multiple characters, intricate plotting, and of course, for the Indian diaspora, it offers this profound, immersive link to heritage.
So what does all this mean for you listening right now?
Well, here's something to think about. Despite being set way back in the 1950s, what universal questions does a suitable boy raise about personal choice, about societal expectations, about national identity that are still really relevant in our world today? How much has actually changed, or are we still grappling with these same kinds of dilemmas?